Vladimir Putin, 17 years and the most powerful man in the world.
He grew up in a cramped communal apartment, fought his way through the streets of Leningrad, and once faced down an angry mob threatening to storm his office. Vladimir Putin's rise to global power was preceded by a life filled with unexpected turns, secret agendas, and unwavering determination. How did these incredible changes mold the man he is now? How did a quiet boy from Leningrad's harsh streets become one of the most influential and polarizing figures in recent history? His tale is one of ambition and relentless drive. Putin's transformation from Soviet intelligence operative to Russia's leader involved intrigue and conflict, significantly impacting Russia and the world. Opinions on Vladimir Putin are always intense. To know this man, we must return to post-war Leningrad's decaying streets and the chaotic 1990s of post-Soviet Russia, which witnessed his rise from nothingness to prominence. What were the pivotal moments that defined his life? And in what way did the KGB training shape who he is today? His incredible journey from humble beginnings to global power was the focus of our research to learn this story. Join us. Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin was born in Leningrad on October 7, 1952, amidst a world still recovering from the devastation of World War II. Scarcity defined how he lived. Putin's parents, Maria and Vladimir Spiridonovich, were survivors. His father, a Navy conscript during the war, had been severely injured. His mother has endured starvation during the siege. A harsh upbringing instilled in Putin the resilience and toughness that would become hallmarks of his personality. As a child, Vladimir was described as a scrappy, mischievous boy. He was small but fought often, never yielding ground. In his own words, he was a street hooligan who learned self-defense was crucial for survival, thus turning to martial arts as his sanctuary. Vladimir Putin's teenage years saw the start of his lifelong love for martial arts. He began with Sambo, later excelling at Judo, earning a black belt before turning 25. To Putin, Judo was far more than just a sport. It was a philosophy teaching calmness under pressure, leveraging opponents' momentum and maintaining control, principles he applied to his leadership style. He even co-authored a judo book, emphasizing the transformative power of viewing challenges as opportunities, a perspective central to his career. Putin developed an interest in espionage at a young age. Inspired by Soviet spy movies, he dreamt of joining the KGB, one of the most secretive and powerful institutions in the USSR. After earning a law degree from Leningrad State University in 1975, that dream became a reality. During the Cold War, Putin climbed the ranks of the KGB, finally settling in Dresden, East Germany. Tasked with intelligence gathering and recruitment, he worked in the shadows of one of history's most tense geopolitical standoffs. You see, the year 1989 marked a momentous occasion, the fall of the Berlin Wall. Government buildings were targeted by protesters who filled the streets. Putin responded swiftly when protesters encircled the KGB headquarters in Dresden. Acting without Moscow's approval, he made sure sensitive files were destroyed so the enemy wouldn't get them. That moment would later be viewed by him as a turning point, exposing the Soviet system's fragility and confirming his belief in strong centralized governance. After the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, Vladimir Putin returned to Russia, struggling with identity and stability. He served as an advisor to Leningrad's reformist mayor, Anatoly Sobchak. Recognizing the potential in his former student, Sobchak, one of Putin's law professors, saw a bright future. By handling difficult tasks others refused, Putin rapidly established his indispensability. He gained a reputation for efficiency due to his pragmatism and adeptness at navigating complex bureaucracies. However, this time wasn't without its share of disputes. In one notable scandal, Putin was implicated in a food-for-resources trade deal that many alleged had been mismanaged. Although no charges were brought against him, the incident foreshadowed the difficult situations he would face in his career. In 1996, Putin moved to Moscow to work for Boris Yeltsin's administration. In the next few years, he climbed the political ladder at an astounding pace. By the year 1998, he became the head of the Federal Security Service, FSB, the KGB's successor organization. 1 year on, he rose to the position of prime minister. His rise was no accident. Behind the scenes, Putin cultivated relationships and projected himself as a steady hand in turbulent times. Following Yeltsin's unforeseen resignation at the end of 1999, Putin was made acting president. Overnight, a relatively unknown bureaucrat became the leader of the world's largest country. But wait a minute, how? Is this even possible? How did a relatively unknown bureaucrat with little experience in politics become the leader of the world's largest country seemingly overnight? Is it a little too convenient? Well, it might just be so. Let's take a look at what really happened in 1999, the year Putin ascended the throne of Russia. Vladimir Putin's rapid ascent to the presidency wasn't just unprecedented. It was surrounded by doubts and speculations. It all began with Boris Yeltsin, Russia's ailing and deeply unpopular president. You see, the late 1990s saw Yeltsin's administration struggling with corruption scandals, economic instability, and a losing war in Chechnya. Losing his grip on power, Yeltsin and his inner circle, called the family, needed a successor to protect them. And guess who that successor would be? You guessed it, Vladimir Putin. With his demonstration of loyalty and exquisite background in the KGB, who else would be better suited? You see, the stunning political maneuver Yeltsin pulled by appointing Putin as prime minister in August 1999 was shocking indeed. But we get it. He saw something in Putin. After all, he had been proving himself worthy ever since the Cold War, right? But then only months later, Yeltsin abruptly announced his resignation from the presidency on New Year's Eve of the very same year, only to hand it over directly to Vladimir Putin. Adding to that, in his first act as president, Putin granted Yeltsin a lifetime immunity from prosecution. This was enough to fuel speculation that this transfer of power was prearranged to protect Yeltsin from any legal consequences. But it wasn't just Yeltsin's endorsement that catapulted Putin to power. In September 1999, a series of devastating apartment bombings rocked Russia, killed nearly 300 people, and terrorized the entire nation. Although the government accused Chechen separatists, some believe the attacks were a false flag operation by the security services to start the Second Chechen War and improve Putin's image. Throwing more fuel into the fire was a Ryazan incident. In the city of Ryazan, two individuals were seen carrying large bags into the building's basement. After alerting authorities, the investigation revealed the bags contained what seemed to be materials to create an explosion big enough to blow up a building. As though Russia wasn't unstable enough. What even antagonized more speculation, just as the investigation gained momentum, and after only 2 days, the FSB, the agency Putin had led just a year earlier, claimed responsibility and dismissed the incident as a training exercise to test the vigilance of local law enforcement. While no definitive evidence has emerged to prove any of the claims, it's worth noting that Putin's strong response to the bombings and the subsequent war in Chechnya cemented his reputation as a leader who could restore order in a chaotic Russia. Well, at least that was the narrative the state media outlets had promoted, depicting Putin as a savior and downplaying his rivals, which helped his approval ratings skyrocket, paving the way for a landslide victory in the presidential election of the year 2000. Was Putin's rise to power the result of careful planning, media manipulation, and well-timed crisis, like many conspiracy theorists propose? Or was it simply the product of the right man being in the right place at the right time? Immediately upon taking office, Putin swiftly consolidated power. His targets were the oligarchs, ultra-wealthy businessmen who wielded immense power after the turbulent Yeltsin era. Some, like Mikhail Khodorkovsky, were imprisoned, others, like Boris Berezovsky, fled the country. This demonstrated the loyalty to the Kremlin was the ultimate priority in Putin's Russia. His next step was cracking down on the media, suppressing opposing viewpoints. Government-controlled media outlets became the only primary source of information, swaying public opinion to support Putin. And from an economic standpoint, Russia benefited from rising oil prices during Putin's early presidency. This wealth gave him means to stabilize the country, eliminate debts, and rebuild national pride. In the aftermath of the chaotic 1990s, many Russians saw Putin as a symbol of order. After he served his first term in the year 2000, Putin gained enough reputation and approval to secure the next 2004 election as well. With another landslide win, the 2004 election ended with over 70% of voters choosing Vladimir Putin. Putin's second term gave further improvements, including economic growth, regional governance reforms, energy sector expansion, as well as improvements in international relations. Russia's influence on the global stage was reasserted once again. By the year 2008, Putin's Russia was at its peak. Putin has solidified his role as an imperative part of leading Russia. But another presidency term was not an option at this point. You see, the dilemma is in the Russian constitution preventing any president from running more than 2 consecutive terms. But it seems that even the constitution is not powerful enough to stand in Putin's determination. Putin executed a carefully orchestrated move. The presidency of 2008 went to Putin's close ally, Dmitry Medvedev, with Putin assuming the role of prime minister. Dmitri's presidency was widely seen as figurehead role, with Putin pulling all the strings from behind the curtains. Following constitutional changes extending presidential terms to 6 years instead of 4, Putin began his third term in 2012. But this time, it sparked protests over alleged election fraud. Nevertheless, that wasn't going to stop Putin from further tightening his grip on power. By 2018, Putin won re-election again, crystallizing his role as one of the world's longest-serving leaders. Then, in 2020, he made another constitutional change to reset his term limits, allowing him to run for 2 more terms, potentially keeping him in power until the year 2036. For years, Putin has meticulously projected an image of strength and vigor. He's been photographed riding horseback shirtless, diving for ancient artifacts, and tranquilizing tigers. These stunts, while ridiculed in the West, deeply resonate with his local fans, enhancing his image as a powerful leader. Rest assured that beneath the theatrics lays a master strategist. Putin, shaped by his KGB training, governs through control, loyalty demands, and threat neutralization. This is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, check our previous one, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification bell.